Hey guys, Lucky here. Back with another update for patch 2.5 and the start of Ladder Season 2. We have an update from Blizzard today. It is only in Japanese so far, what I've been able to find, but I just did a Google Translate of the page, so some of the words might be a little off with the translation, but we can get the gist from what happens. In this update, it looks like there are a solid ladder date as well as changes to terror zones and new items being brought into the game. Get this, breaking immunities is going to be a thing, it looks like. Insane. So let's get right into it. Prophecy have been foretold. Ladder Season 2 will begin on October 7th. I guess the exact time will come out soon, but mark it on your calendars. Barring any unforeseen circumstances, we're looking at an October 7th start to Season 2. Hopefully it'll be the same. This is, Japan time, because that was the original time of the announcement, but that looks like Friday for US. So it may be Thursday night, potentially a Thursday night reset. Blizzard likes to do things on Thursday, so maybe October 6th, but right now we're seeing October 7th Japan time. Potentially October 6th, Thursday for the US, and then maybe also late October 6th for EU, or early on the 7th. Terror Zone. So let's just skip right to the red text. Hull was added. Curse City, I'm guessing that's City of the Danged. Yeah, Hull and the City in Act 4 were added. And these were removed. This looks like Maggot Layer, potentially Harem, and Lower Kurost were removed as terror zones. Black Marsh was incorrectly coded before, so that's been removed. Monster density, basically, was the reasoning behind. They removed low density zones and added higher density zones, such as the Hull and City. Very cool. New Weakening Amulet. Okay. Now, again, remember, guys, this is a translation. But these are the new items that it looks like we're looking at. On Hell difficulty, many monsters gain resistances to certain damage attributes. At 100% resistance, monsters are completely immune. So this is talking about immunities that exist in the game and have existed for forever. They're very frustrating. Certain classes and certain elements, such as fire, can't even break some of these immunities because they are so high, and the way that the immunities are working behind the scenes, with fire being so high, like almost no amount of minus res that exists in the game can currently break fire immunes in Hell, whereas others can be broken, such as lightning. Cold is another example of immunity that's very hard to break in a lot of circumstances. Okay, I'm not sure if it's an amulet or a charm. So it looks like potentially a charm. We've added 6 new unique grand charms that are meant to address this. There's a new keyword called Sunder. So Sunder sounds like the ability that we are gaining from this unique grand charm. If a monster had full resistance to a particular attribute, this keyword, this Sunder effect, will reduce that resistance to 95%. Okay, so if an enemy previously had 170 fire res, now it's going to be a flat 95. That's insane. This means no more resistance, no more immunities for enemy mobs in D2R once you get your hands on this charm. That's pretty crazy. So give weaknesses. If something that allows you to give weaknesses are applied before other resistance are calculated and only affect non-player units. So I believe this is saying that this is being applied before any other adverse effects are being applied to the monster. So if you have additional minus enemy monster res, or perhaps if your player is using conviction or lower res or something along those lines, it would be applied after the immunity is removed, which is an insane amount of additional damage that you're going to get, not only to previously immune mobs that you could have broken before, now making it a base 95 and then scaling from there with all of your minus res. The damage goes up exponentially, which is crazy. These new amulets or charms, I believe they're charms. They will only drop from rare, unique, and champion difficulty monsters in raid zones. So I believe this is terror zones. So these can only drop in terror zones. Okay, so there's some incentive for definitely getting into these new terror zones that we're gonna see in Ladder 2 and in the PTR. That's really cool. Okay, the new unique. Okay, large. So it looks like it's a large charm. They have one drawback. It's reduce monster resistances, but they also reduce the player's own resistance of the same attribute. All right, this is cool. Let's get into it. So players take more damage from that attribute. Okay, here's an example of the items. Again, these are translations, so I don't know if this is actually what the names will be, but let's see an example of one. All right, this one, it removes the magic immunity from monsters, but it also reduces your magic res by 50%. So you'll take 50% more damage from magic damage in the game. That doesn't seem like too bad of a trade-off. Here's physical. So this one removes your physical immunities from enemy mobs, and you take 25% more physical damage. Okay, interesting. Physical damage is a little bit harder to mitigate. There's not a whole ton of magic damage in the game. You know, this could get a little scary, a little dicey. There's much more physical damage. So this one, you'll probably just want to help overcap maybe some of your PTR if using one of these. Again, you don't really encounter too many physical immune mobs, but this is like having half of a Decrepify, reduce physical damage applied to you. So not too bad. Frost, this one removes cold immunity and cold res. You lose 75%. Okay, this looks like the same for cold, lightning, fire, and poison. It will remove that element's immunity from mobs, and you lose 75% of the res. I mean, you know, I like the fact that in order to gain the benefit, you have to sacrifice something, and this 75 seems like an amount that could be worked around for gear. When I think of these charms, I'm looking at fire and cold. I think lightning we've always kind of been able to break, but I think the lightning is still cool. Fire and cold, I'm telling you, maybe items with really high cold and fire res now to supplement on and make up for the penalty of removing the entire immunity. I think that could be a really cool thing to look for in Ladder 2, and I think they'll be pretty hot commodities. Fire damage is pretty prevalent in enemy mobs, and running really low fire res is going to hurt you. So you're definitely going to want to make up for it with either charms or rings if you can get res. Boots are a great spot. So this is really cool. I am very excited. I think this opens up so many options for end games. Fire builds, which are always fire builds. The problem with them is they've never been lacking in damage. It's always been the fact that you can't break fire immunities. There are so many fire immunities in the game, and I think this is really cool that we will finally have a chance to break those insane fire immunities that we've seen. Let's see if there's any other information that we can gather about them. Drop. Okay, and we'll get to test it in the PTR. All right, great. Let's see. How long do we have for the PTR? PTR will end on September 20th. Okay, so it's the 15th now, so we'll get a couple days to actually test these changes, which is really cool. We've added, oh, cool. There are new templates in the PTR that we'll get to test. Oh, I'm so excited to test these charms out. I can't wait to get into it. I don't know if it's live yet, since this is still just the Japanese announcement, but I will be checking very carefully, and I can't wait to get in there and test it. I'm sure you guys do too. Let me know in the comments what you guys think of these new charms, the changes to the Terror Zones, and what you're excited about for Ladder 2, October 7th or 6th. All right, guys, good luck out there. See you in the next one. Peace.